people, we have writing for this wonderful Wednesday. And today for writing, this is the last time we are going to talk about our personal narratives. So on Monday, everyone published their personal narrative by rewriting it, creating an illustration, and gluing it all together into one last finished piece. But we're not quite done yet. There is one last step for us to show off our awesome published work. So let's look at our new learning target for Wednesday. That is, I can present my personal narrative to the class by speaking clearly and loudly. So today is presentation day. You are going to have the opportunity to share your awesome finished work with your class by presenting. Presenting means that you get up in front of people and they are listening to you talk about a specific topic. In this case, it's going to be your personal narrative. You are going to have the opportunity to showcase to your class your finished product. What I'm going to do at the end of today is I'm going to take all the videos that you submitted, I'm going to put them together in one video and share the link with everyone so they can go and watch you present your personal narrative. If we were in school, we would have one day that would be dedicated to everyone having the chance to come up to the front of the classroom and present their personal narrative to the class. But since we can't do that, I'm going to take all your videos that you submit on Dojo, put them together, and share out one video that's in substitution of a presentation day of our personal narrative. So just know your classmates are going to see your presentation video that you submit today. So presentation is still part of the publishing phase, the last phase, because publishing is sharing your work with the world. And one way we can do that is by presenting it, by reading it to our class and being proud of what we created. So when we're presenting a presentation, there are three things that everyone needs to follow. First up, you need to show your face. In your video, people are going to want to see you and see your face since we don't get to see each other all the time. That means that we're going to be able to see you in your video, and when you're reading, your story will be low enough so we can see your face in the camera. You don't want to read like this because guess what? We can't see you. So first up in your presentation, you need to make sure that we can see your face. Keep your face in the space. So after making sure that we can see your face in the camera and the video you're about to take, then you're going to read your story. And you're going to read what you wrote both clearly and loudly so everyone can hear. So after making sure you're all set up and ready to go, you're going to read your story exactly as you wrote it. If you need some help reading, that's okay, but you are going to tell the story that you wrote about in your personal narrative. And you want to make sure that you are talking and you're reading clearly and loudly so everyone can hear every single word of your personal narrative. One part of reading clearly is making sure we're reading nice and slow and not rushing. When we want to read loudly, we want to make sure we're projecting our voice. So if we were in the classroom, everyone could hear you no matter where you're seated. So the first part of your presentation is you're going to read your story that you wrote about your own adventure. After you read your story clearly and loudly, the last part of your presentation, you're going to show and explain your picture. The picture is what you glued to the bottom of your personal narrative. So after you're done reading, you're going to turn your published work around and show your classmates what you drew and explain to them how that relates to your personal narrative, what it is you drew in your story in your picture. So these are the parts that go into presenting your published work. We need to make sure we see your face, You need to read your story in a beautiful voice and then turn it around and show us your picture and how awesome it is. So everyone is going to take the time right now to make a beautiful video of you presenting your personal narrative. Of course, you can practice ahead of filming if you would like. If you want to spice up your presentation and put in a background or wear a fun costume or bring in some stuffed animals or props that have to do with your story, feel free to do that. You can be as creative as you want in your presentation because you're at home and you have the opportunity to add these fun other elements to your presentation. You don't have to do that, but if you want to spice it up, that's for you. But before you go presenting on your own, I want you to just quickly watch me as I present my personal narrative by showing my face, reading my story, and showing my picture. So let's watch Miss Rangel's presentation. Hello, second grade. I am excited to present to you my personal narrative. I chose this background of West Seattle, the neighborhood where I grew up, because this is the setting of my story. It takes place in West Seattle, so I decided to use that fun part as my background. Facing My Driving Fears by Miss Rangel. During my senior year of college, I took my driver's test in West Seattle. On this day, the sun was shining and the sky was blue. The instructor and I got into the tiny Prius and we were ready to go. I was feeling very nervous. First, I drove and made a good left turn. I noticed there were a lot of cars on the road. Right now, I was feeling both calm and nervous. Next, I made a mistake and drove with the parking brake on. This happened because I was trying to park. My face got red and I started sweating. In the end, I passed my driver's test. I felt very excited, so I ran and told my dad. I learned I could do scary things. The end. And now I'm going to show you my drawing. And what I drew is me making a left turn. I drew the parking lot, a bench, some bushes, and I even included a speech bubble that said I was nervous. So thank you so much for listening to my personal narrative presentation. Okay, Super Scholars, you saw how I followed the 3 steps of writing presentation. You are going to go ahead and do the exact same thing and submit a video of you presenting your work. I can't wait to put them all together and showcase the great writing we have been doing so far in 2nd grade.